Hello, weirdos. This is your adorable host, Jonesy. This is a Weird AF News bonus. This is the second bonus podcast I'm recording in the month of October because, you know, I feel like I gave you guys the short end of the stick last month when I only did one bonus episode. But in my defense, I was traveling, man. I was in Singapore. I was in Bali. Not to throw my island hopping in your face, but that's what I was doing. And you know what? It's hard to record bonus episodes when you're doing that. It was hard enough just for me to get the podcast out, but I did it. I'm dedicated. So this is going to be the second bonus episode. I'm probably going to do 3 in the month of October just to make up for, you know, what I did to you in September. And lucky for me, I have so many funny friends at my disposal in Los Angeles. Now that I'm back in LA, these people are at my beck and call. And they're hilarious, and I have one in front of me right now, my good friend Evan Ferrante, who's an actor from NYC that I've known for a long, long time, who now lives in Los Angeles. Evan, thank you so much for joining the Weird AF News bonus
I had
episode
absolutely nothing
podcast.
Nothing going on. So, you know, I just made myself available because I have nothing going on. And hey, I thought this was the weirdest AF podcast. I thought this was like My Life is Better Than Yours podcast because what you just described, you're going on all these vacations and trips.
Did I make you feel as though my life is better than yours?
Slightly.
You have been doing your own traveling though, sir. So I mean, I don't think you don't need to feel insecure about my traveling.
I'm working. Well, you're working too.
I was working, of course. Yeah. Wherever I find myself, I try to get on the stage. Wherever it might be.
Let me ask you though.
Sure.
You have your gigs, you have your time slots, right? Do you stress during the day? You kind of just like you vacation during the day and you just do your work at night. Like, what do you do prep wise for your? Like, what happens?
I like having the whole day to myself in a new place. Yeah. Knowing that I have a show that night.
Okay.
Because it allows me to kind of keep an eye open and be sort of sensitive to what might be funny about the place.
Right.
And I'll usually try it on stage that night.
Right.
Especially in a place like Singapore. Here's an example. I had a feeling my material wasn't going to work because I come from a much different culture than Singapore, man. They don't have jury duty in Singapore. That doesn't exist, you know. That's just an example of
that's quite alien, yeah.
Yeah, so like, what am I going to talk about, you know? And so I'm thinking to myself, I guess maybe be aware. Maybe there's some aspects of this country that they're not aware of. Maybe I can take this moment to make them aware of the differences.
I just have one question. Do they not have juries? Like, what do they not? What's their system of judicial? What's their judicial system?
I have no idea.
Because I'm reading a sci-fi book right now, and I can't really talk about it. I mean, I can talk about it. It's not like this confidential information. But I'm on this 20th page, and the point is, it's a system. It's a near future system where they don't have jury duty. This is actually a real thing. So it's funny that you said that.
What do they have?
Because it's kind of like a minority.
A king?
Well, it's like
a czar.
You know, Minority Report, right?
Sure.
Where they can see the future.
Philip K. Dick.
Yeah, Philip K. Dick. So this one, they have this. It's a surveillance state to such a degree that everyone's mind is recorded, every aspect of everyone's mind. So no one has anything to hide, essentially. So it's like a perfect system where if you've got something to hide, you're in trouble, and if you got nothing to hide, you're fine. And then, you know, knowing this, you kind of have to be on your best behavior throughout your whole life.
So the evidence is
it's
so strong, you don't need a jury.
Exactly, you don't need a jury.
It's so black and white. You either did it or you didn't.
Right. And I'm just getting into this book right now.
Sure. So I guess
Singapore,
yeah. So what I did was, hung out in Singapore during the day. I know I got a show that night. I'm like, well, let me. In my travels, I don't make any special trips anywhere. I just do what I would normally do.
You observe and report.
I observe and report. I noticed there's no crime. So I did a bit about how there's no fucking crime here.
Is that because the penalties are so harsh for small crimes?
The penalties are very harsh, and the laws are so stern that no one's even doing anything like that. So I was just talking about how I could come here. I feel like I could come here with a baseball bat and just take everything. Just take everything. You can't stop me. Wow. Your police force is probably the biggest pussy police force in the world because they've never been tested.
Right.
I could just come here and just dressed like a hockey goalie and just take whatever I want. Like stuff like that, riffing off the fact that this police force is probably weak as shit.
Crime does pay.
It's probably small.
No, but I think maybe I'm confusing this with some other region of Asia, but that there are harsher penalties for small crimes than large crimes. Isn't that the case there?
I think it's. I don't know. I think it's.
Like there was an incident where someone did some graffiti and then was caned or whipped.
Yeah, that was Singapore.
That was Singapore.
Yeah, and that was an American that got caned. Yeah,
Many years ago, right?
Sure. I did a whole Weird AF News segment on the weird laws in Singapore, and they're still on the books, and they're fucking weird, man. You can be fined for playing rude music in public. You could be fined for chewing gum.
Okay, so chewing gum, by the way, in Carmel, in California, right?
Carmel, yeah, up near Monterey.
They don't allow chewing gum, and they also because they don't want it on the city street, on the streets there, the town streets.
There's no chewing gum
and
allowed.
You're not allowed to also eat ice cream cones.
No, the cone has been banned. Only a
not
cup.
The cone.
You
that's actually interesting. No, I think you can't have ice cream on the street. You can't walk and have ice cream. Basically, they don't want that on the streets either.
But
so there's some strange. I mean, there's weird laws everywhere, state by state.
Yeah.
District by district.
But there's a lot.
But Singapore is rife with them.
Singapore is still enforcing these weird laws. A lot of these weird laws, that you see hanging around on the books, they just don't enforce them.
But it's interesting that there's no
like
crime.
Sodomy. There's like sodomy laws in every state in the U.S.
But
pretty
not
much.
there.
Pretty much sodomy.
Because sodomy's not an issue there, or it's just underground, like down low?
I don't know. Sodomy's been on the books for these blue laws that all these states have because of our puritanical roots. So sodomy is still on the books. So it was a law. It was a crime at one time, but no one enforces this kind of shit.
Now I'm a little bit naive here. I know you said earlier today that I have some intelligence, but sodomy, describe it again. It's having sex in the butthole.
Yes, it is.
But is it? But
yes,
but
it's
obviously,
having sex in the butthole.
But that's that's. Is that anyone? Anyone, girl, guy.
Sure,
guy,
anybody.
Doesn't matter.
So you could have sex with your wife in the butthole, and that's apparently...
Gotcha, and that's illegal in many states.
It's technically it's on the books in so many states, though.
But not here in California.
I have no idea.
Here in California, it's encouraged.
It is most definitely, I would say, encouraged in California, for sure. But like, these things are still on the books, because of the effort it takes to get a law off the books. They just don't enforce it. That's
sure.
This is how they handle these things, And there's a lot of laws like that. I've covered a lot of these laws on Weird AF News.
Because it sounds like sodomy, the act of sodomy sounds like a very aggressive, violent, word,
Sure.
Anal sex these days is kind of like less taboo than it used to be, and it's kind of, again, like a fun pastime.
Sure, it's a total fun pastime.
Yeah.
What are you doing on Sundays, guys?
Sodomy.
Little sodomy.
It sounds terrible when you say sodomy.
On my show, I do Florida Fridays. Maybe I ought to do Sodomy Sundays. Oh, that's terrible. It'll just be sounds.
Why not Saturdays? Why is Sunday the day for sodomy?
And now for the mellifluous sounds of Sodomy Sundays. Stupid.
What is mellifluous?
Mellifluous means sweet and flowing. Come on, get with it.
How often do you use that word?
It's like every day. Duh.
This conversation is a bit soporific for me.
Whoa, easy, man. Come on. This is some highfalutin language you're springing on me, you big reader. Well, listen, Evan, I know you know what the podcast is all about because you're a fan of it, and we handle weird stories here. Yeah. The good thing about the bonus episodes is, because my normal episodes are just me, the bonus episodes, what I like is I got a buddy with me that's doing them with me. So
are these weirder subjects, or they're kind of the same?
All of the stories that I get, I throw in a bin. As I come across them, and then I only cover 3 per day, so there's a lot of leftovers.
So it's a bargain basement bin.
So this is the bargain basement bin. I call it the B-sides, if we will. But there's still a lot of great shit in there.
I know, I'm excited. I'm actually amped. Let's roll.
Okay, let's roll. An Italian hunter shoots dead his father after mistaking him for a boar. I don't know how you...
Wow, there's a lot to unbox there. So it's why the Italian hunter thing is funny too.
An Italian hunter.
So he mistook his father for a boar.
Sure.
So it was at night. Tell me the details.
I'll tell you the details, and you can give me.
Are we solving a crime here? Or are we just going to talk about it?
Maybe. Do they need us?
I don't know. Maybe I can help.
You might
Go. Tell me the whole story.
Do you know a lot about Italian hunting?
This is just the headline. I'm a headline reader, by the way. My consumption of news.
So Martino Gaudioso was shot in the stomach. Martino was 55. He was shot in the stomach by his 34-year-old son as they stalked their prey separately through thick foliage in a place called Signano degli Alberni.
Wow.
Which is, I'm sure you know where it is. It's near Salerno, right?
I mean, I don't, but okay.
Yeah, it's in a national park area that's...
I'm a 40-year-old Italian, quite detached from my heritage, who's never been back.
You mean you've never been to Signano degli Alberni near Salerno, pepperoni, lasagna, manicati?
No, I've heard of pepperoni, though. It's a great town.
So, by the way, they're in a national park area that happened to be off limits to hunters.
Okay.
So already, guys, you're getting a little, edgy with your hunting style.
Right, but the thick brush really, that's a big contributor. Was that night? Sorry, I missed that. Does
It doesn't say. It just doesn't say.
It was clearly an accident, though, right?
He thought he was dad. He thought his dad was a boar. Mm-hmm. Perhaps. His dad might move through the foliage as a boar would.
He's known for moving as a boar. Yeah,
he's
got boar characteristics.
Perhaps he makes boar noises. What would boar noises be?
It's obviously like a.
That's pretty good. I would say that's more Wookiee than boar.
Right. I'm a Wookiee voiceover artist.
I had no clue that you're a Wookiee VO artist.
Yeah, I'm the go-to Wookiee.
I had no idea.
Yeah. They make a lot of money off Wookiee VOs. Geico hires me a lot.
Yeah. So all right. So yeah, maybe he makes a boar sound. I mean, maybe he smells like a boar. I don't know. It's a sad case when you think that your dad is a boar.
I also wonder if it was one shot or multiple, because obviously, it's just such a tragedy. This is a tragic story.
And there's more to it.
Okay, tell me more.
Yeah, well, Italy's environmental minister called for a nationwide ban on hunting last year following the fatal shooting of an 18-year-old who was also mistaken for a boar.
Oh, my God.
And then 3 months ago, a hunter aged 67 was found dead in the woods after accidentally shooting himself in the head.
What?
And so
he thought he was a boar himself?
They're calling for a ban on hunting in Italy's woods and countryside. They're saying this is not the Wild West, and they want harsher punishments for manslaughter by hunters. To make a statement here.
I've never heard about this happening in the States. So is this like an isolated Italian incident? But it actually happens a lot. I mean, the fact that they have this.
Yeah, do you think that
taking these measures?
It doesn't say in the article, but perhaps you're not required to have a hunting license in Italy. Maybe any old Joe Schmo without any training can just get out there and start blasting away. Maybe
a lack of training.
Maybe. So you're required.
American hunters are much more. Better training and better.
Well, they require you to have a license, right? So you have to have a license. Sure. So does that? I don't know how you get a hunter's license.
I've heard, or at least I've seen these on Criminal Minds or the episodes where people accidentally shoot other hunters. That can happen, right? They go out separately, see some movement, and just get trigger happy.
I think what happens is, and this is in this case. They go out to hunt and then they go, let's split up.
Yeah.
I think you just got to do away with that.
You got to stick together. Yeah, the let's split up is the problem.
I think let's split up is the problem.
But how do you justify how do you figure out, how does it make sense that the guy shot himself, though? Because he's not splitting up. He's splitting up with himself. Split personality.
He's just wasted. He's just drunk or something. I mean, how do you shoot yourself up?
But he didn't think he was a boar. That was just a separate, non sequitur incident.
I don't think he mistook himself as a boar. No, I would say no, right? Oh, maybe.
There are psychological conditions where people think of themselves or think of others in their life as a hat. A man who mistook his wife for a hat. I swear, it's a book I read in college about psychological case studies.
A guy mistook
his wife was a hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he attempted to put her on his head?
Sure.
Is that
or put her on a hat?
A hat rack?
Yeah.
Or sell her on eBay?
Yeah. Or just kick her around on the floor. I don't know.
Or put her on backwards, thinking he's got a rally cap situation going at a ball game where his team is losing. No, that's weird. Yeah, I think this whole let's split up in the woods situation it's not working out.
That's the wrong. Yeah.
It's more like, hey, let's stick together so I don't think that you're an elk and shoot you in the balls.
And maybe, I don't know if alcohol was a contributor, but maybe stop drinking while you're hunting?
Yeah, and these Italians, man, they're probably out there hitting the fucking, the grappa, or whatever it's called.
Oh, yeah. Is that like a sweet liqueur?
I think it's a sweet port.
Mm-hmm. Port.
I think it's a port wine.
Yeah, after dinner. It's an after dinner drink.
These Italians are winos, am I right?
Yeah.
You know about it. I got an Italian family.
I spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time with Italians in LA. I have there's this Italian little group that I hang out with, and they drink a lot, and they also eat a lot of pizza. And
you guys go hunting?
We'd never go hunting. No, I don't think I would take part in that. I'm kind of against the hunting thing. Yeah. I don't even feel good about hitting plates in the air.
You mean skeet shooting?
Yeah, whatever it is.
Hitting the plates in there?
Yeah.
I'm like, I think he means skeet shooting.
Or he could be referring to
wrong. You could be referring to a Greek wedding. They do smash some plates.
Breaking glasses. Yeah. It's like you can cut yourself.
Look, I'm not into hunting either, but then again, I've never tried it, so I think I'm not into it, but then again, I can't say definitively that I'm not into it.
I once went to a range in Virginia, right?
West Virginia?
A girl that I was dating, yeah. It was near D.C. I don't know if that's West Virginia. No, it's regular Virginia. Regular Virginia.
Was it regular or
Yeah.
West?
I don't know. It was just
It's a big
regular
difference.
Virginia. And
West is like, come here, cuz.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. It wasn't
Okay.
like that. But at the same time, first time in a range, I had a decent time, but I was quite disturbed, and I found it very upsetting. The pictures that we shot, right? They had a assortment that we could choose from. One was, not shitting you, one was Osama bin Laden. Okay, I get it, fine. Another one was an African American guy coming out of a window. I'm not even fucking kidding you right now.
Wow.
Yes, I swear.
So Osama bin Laden was a target, and then a black guy coming through the window.
And I know you're probably going to ask, which one did you choose? I chose Osama. It was the only one I had. Well, only option I had. But I was
What
quite
the
disgusted by
hell,
that.
man?
I almost walked out altogether.
Wow, man. They need more choices than this, by the way.
Well, no, they had a regular target. They had one regular target. But for people who want to, get excited, I guess that excites certain people, which is really disturbing.
Oh, shooting at an African American man excites some people.
Coming out of a window.
Coming
Like
out of a
thief,
window.
thief.
Oh,
So
my goodness.
It's not just an African American man who is standing up straight. He's
A thief.
stealing something
Yeah.
and getting out of the home.
You
Escaping.
couldn't have put a masked outfit on this invader, this home invader, and let it be, ethnically neutral or some shit. No, you had to make it an African American man.
I've
you
never
had to
seen
go there.
anything so blatantly racist in my life.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not have Lex Luthor?
But this is another thing that's turned me off from just shooting in general. I just think it's shooting animals. I just don't like the idea of doing.
You don't
that.
like the idea of shooting?
No, and I know
animals?
they justify it by saying, well, there's too many deer, there's too many of these. It's population control.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it's such a mean-spirited, terrible thing. In fact, my girlfriend and I were watching. Speaking of just having this moral kind of code, we were watching some videos about Japanese street food and watching the process of this very systematically and methodically killing octopus for consumption and lobster too, and it was just terrible seeing these incredibly, specifically octopus, these incredibly genius, alien-like beings, just being slaughtered.
Mm-hmm. And it bothered you a lot?
Yeah, it bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
And being handled the way they were, I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Didn't like the handling.
I don't think you'd enjoy Asia very much. I saw some of that.
I know, and I know it happens a lot. Of course, well, it's quite normalized, hyper normalized.
Yeah.
It's a cultural thing.
That's right.
I'm not
Completely.
down with that. I'm not down with that.
Yeah, you're not down with that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. What about shooting iguanas in Florida because they're being very invasive right now?
Well, it's funny.
How
I
do you
have
feel
an
about
iguana
that?
story. I got an iguana when I was.
I looked at you and said,
knew.
"I bet you got an
this
iguana
guy has an
story."
iguana story.
For sure, iguana story.
So years ago when I was in St. John or St. Thomas, one of those islands with my family, an iguana. I had a run-in with an iguana because they're all over, and it whipped me. It whipped me in the leg hard.
It whipped you with the.
Yeah,
How big
and
was
left
this
a
thing?
big mark. I mean, I was a little boy, and this was a big iguana, a decent-sized iguana. Definitely a mother or father, not a little kid, and it whipped the hell out of my leg. But I wasn't mad at the iguana. I was just and I left a mark, and I was hurt. I cried, I'm sure, but no hard feelings. And I don't know. I don't like the idea of.
Although being.
It's genocide.
It's genocide. Yeah.
Basically,
Sure.
it's population control of a species that you think has gotten out of control and is, But then again, it's a slippery slope argument because then you think, well, then there's cockroaches or things that not butterflies. I'm sorry I mentioned that, but there is a ethical dilemma kind of question in the Book of Questions, a very famous book.
The Book of Questions.
Yeah, it's called the Book of Questions. It has 200 questions in it.
Any answers in there or just questions?
No, they're just questions. And
Do you have to buy the Book of Answers separately?
Yeah. No, it's like cocktail conversation.
Oh, okay.
Or camping.
How do you guys feel about?
Well, here's one. I'll tell you.
Okay.
So, would you rip off the? Oh no, the first question is sorry. It's a two-parter. Would you step on a cockroach?
Yes.
If it meant
Okay.
you can have an all-expense-paid vacation for a week.
Of course.
Obviously, right?
Yes.
Then
I wouldn't even think about it.
Right. Then would you then?
I'll step on the whole cockroach's
Would you
family.
pull the wings off a butterfly for the same thing?
Sure.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cold.
I'll pull off the wings of a butterfly to go on all
That's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What's so cold about that?
Well, first of all, the act of pulling the wings off a butterfly,
Yeah.
as opposed to just catching it and squashing it.
You didn't
But
say
pulling
that.
the wings
you didn't
is
say
very-
that.
it's torture.
You didn't say I couldn't kill it first. You just said pull the wings off it. You didn't say pull the wings off an alive butterfly or a
Right.
dead butterfly. I would kill it 1st. Mercy.
Yeah, and
then
feel
pull the
good
wing-
about yourself
and then
while
pull the wings
sipping
up.
on a pina colada.
And then I'll tell you what I'll do. I will donate $100, okay, to a butterfly sanctuary, and then I'll go down to the islands and get a tan.
Wow.
Conscious free.
Wow.
What about that? You're judging me so harshly.
I try not to judge in life, but this is one of those extenuating circumstances where I just I think less of it. Yes.
I'm never going to be invited over your house ever again. Clearly.
Well,
you got a party coming up.
There are no wrong answers. These are just opinions. You know?
Lily's going to be like, "Did you invite Jonesy to the party?" He's like, "That butterfly
Killer.
massacre person."
No, well, the whole point is most people would step on a cockroach, but not pull their wings off a butterfly. To gain personal satisfaction out of something, to gain a thing or an experience, to possess something.
That's why I would
kill it.
make a donation to the butterfly sanctuary just to even out my karma. But then I'll also go down to the Cayman Islands.
So cockroaches are really like a universally like people mostly think the world would be a better place without them. But there are other things like that I've given in my maturity. I've given a second thought about killing these days. Insects. Certain insects. You either step on them or let them out the door or let them out the window. If you can let them out the window or the door, don't you do that?
I do that typically, unless it's a roach. I want no part of a roach.
Yeah, roaches.
I will step on the roach and kill it immediately, but everything else I'll try.
Crickets too. What about crickets?
I'll catch them and release them as well if I can. Hard though, but I do.
I'm
a catch and release guy in general.
Yeah.
And a lot of the women the women I've lived with, not fans of the catch and release guy. No,
Right.
They want it to be killed immediately. They want it out of their sight. They don't want anybody negotiating in the kitchen with this cricket.
So my girlfriend won't go to sleep if there's any mosquito in the room.
That's a tough one,
She has
man.
to turn on the light.
I agree with her though.
And she makes me get up out of bed and swat them, or she will not go to sleep.
But it's not a fear thing, man.
I don't care about a fucking mosquito. It's a little mosquito.
Yeah,
Are we gonna get malaria? Like what the hell?
But it bites your face while you're sleeping and
Who
shit.
cares? Get over it. Get over. You're gonna survive this.
I know I'll survive it, but that will keep me up, man. When it bites me.
The sound is the problem.
The sound. I gotta sleep under the covers. That's no way to sleep. So I will attempt to get that mosquito killed so I can get.
But they're
some
hard
sleep.
to catch. It's a lot of energy to
Can't
get.
find the damn thing
They're
either. Where the
hard.
hell are they hiding?
It's difficult.
Freaking
and so,
difficult.
So the difficulty of catching them outweighs a little buzzing for me.
I see.
I know that they're going to eventually make their way out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
With your
expend the
blood.
energy. I'm not going to expend the. I don't care about that. Take my blood.
With the blood of your old lady.
It's such a basically, they're microdosing off my blood. Who cares?
They are. They're microdosing your blood.
Are we done with this one, or are we going to move on?
We're moving on. Do you know why they like your blood so much? Because they like the blood of virgins, Evan.
Wouldn't that be cool if they got high from our blood?
We don't know. Are they? They could
Maybe.
be. Oh man! And then if that's the case, I don't blame them. I'd want to get high as well
It's
if I
kinda
was
cool.
a mosquito. Life's got to be pretty flimsy for a mosquito. I'd want to get fucked up as well. Here's the next story.
Conscious mosquitoes. It's interesting.
A doctor performed an abortion on the wrong woman.
What?
This is terrible.
So wait, that's fucked up. So the other woman actually had a fetus growing inside her, or embryo, or something. And
Let's find out.
that's terrible.
There's an investigation going on in South Korea after a doctor performed an abortion by mistake.
Jesus.
So a pregnant patient with a 6-year-old fetus had gone to a clinic in the country's capital, Seoul. At the clinic, a mix-up in the medical charts and a failure to check her identity led to a mistaken abortion. You didn't check her identity! The doctor and nurse in charge are under investigation, and the case will be soon sent to the prosecutor's office.
So the woman who had the mistaken one taken out really wanted to have that baby, and it was done improper. What was she there for?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
This is just tragic.
South Korea moved actually to legalize abortion in April of this year. The country's constitutional court ruling that lawmakers must revise existing laws by December 31st, 2020. However, under existing laws, the practice remains illegal and is technically punishable by up to a year in prison. Exceptions are granted in cases where the parents have hereditary diseases. The pregnancy is due to rape or incest, or the fetus is threatening the life of the mother. An estimated 50,000 abortions were carried out in South Korea last year, according to the Health Ministry.
This is why they have malpractice insurance, by the way. Chart mix-ups. Chart mix-ups happen.
Chart mix-ups happen. Yes, I came
but
across
this is
another chart
terrible.
mix-up. for some other weird story. I can't remember what it was.
Like
but
you get an appendix taken out, you get your fucking heart taken out.
Imagine.
That can happen.
You wake up.
That's pretty.
You wake
horrifying.
up with no with the one kidney gone. I mean,
yeah. The other horrifying thing about going to have surgery is having them put you out, but having you conscious of the pain, but unable to express it.
What this happens?
No, it happens. Yes, it's.
Does it happen to you?
No, it hasn't happened to me. It's a condition, though. It's either a condition or they didn't take to the medicine, or it only or not the medicine.
That's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
Oh my God, I don't even want to imagine.
Well,
that
on
ever
another
happening.
level, there's a guy who was in a coma forever, right? For like 30 years. 30 years.
They kept him on the machine 30 years.
I think so, but he was conscious of everything happening, but couldn't ever express it.
No.
30 years
That's
as a prisoner in your own body.
Is that
no expression?
Is that not your worst nightmare?
Yeah, that's my worst.
That's my worst nightmare too. I didn't know what my worst nightmare was until you just articulated it right
Yep.
there.
Oh,
I thought my worst nightmare was being buried alive, but now
that's pretty fucking terrible.
This is pretty terrible. But this is my new nightmare.
Well, buried alive.
Because it's 30 years.
Yeah, buried alive, you're dead in like what, 4 days, 3 days, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
7 days. Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're
30
screaming.
years of being alive and unable to do just being.
You just
aware
want
of
someone to kill you. You're like,
by
please
the
kill
way,
me.
people are talking shit about you. People are whatever. You know, it's not all love. There's some hatred around you.
This is why
your family members come by. They say whatever's on their mind, thinking you're in a coma. And you are in a coma, but you're aware.
Listen, you need to put in safeguards for this. This is why.
Wow.
If I'm in a coma for 6 months or a year.
What is the safeguard? They have no idea what you're going through.
But you say, if I'm in a coma, you end my life. You don't let me be in a coma longer than a year, something like that.
Oh, I see.
Can't you do that? You can put that in a living will of something.
Yeah, but he came out of it. Now he's fine. There's people who come out of a coma and are fine.
Listen, if you're waiting 30 years for me to come out of the coma,
that's the problem.
Don't even wait.
But that's the problem with comas.
I'm going to be 80 years old. My dick doesn't work.
I almost said commas and forgot the word coma. But you just turned into Seinfeld just now.
No, I don't want to be in a coma for 30 years. Look, I'm going to be 50, 85 years old when I wake up. My dick won't work.
It is a prison. It's solitary confinement.
You got to put a safeguard in for this.
At the same time, yeah, I mean it is solitary confinement. It's pretty terrible. Yeah, but I don't know. You don't feel anything. It's just mind. It's just your mind. It's endless. It's kind of a fascinating thing. Just unlimited consciousness.
Did I tell you the time that I told jokes to a woman in a coma?
No.
Yeah.
And is this a joke?
No, this is a real thing that happened. My aunt calls me from New Hampshire.
Uh-huh.
She says, I got a friend that lives out in LA.
Wow.
She's in a coma.
Yeah?
Her name's Sandy. You don't know her, you never met her, but she's been in a coma for 8 months, whatever. The family's tried everything to get her out of this coma. They're going to pull the plug in a few days.
Except comedy. Except a talented comedian.
Could you possibly go over there and just tell jokes to her?
Wow.
Maybe she'll snap out of it. Because you know when someone's in a coma, you try those things?
Yeah.
You play their favorite song.
Yeah.
You talk to them.
Anything to trigger something.
Anything to trigger something. So she thought maybe my jokes are pretty good.
Good enough.
Good enough to awaken somebody out of a coma.
And she didn't have the budget to hire anybody else. It was free.
Didn't have the budget to hire anybody.
Yeah. Like she could have scoured and found someone with
The family's like, we'd love to get a professional comedian in here, but we got no budget. We spent the whole budget on the clown.
Yeah. on a clown with balloon talents.
We hired Stevie Aoki to come here to do
Nothing
an hour
works.
set.
But we heard you were a riot at the comedy factory, at the Laugh Factory. So
we saw you at the open mic. We love your we love your shit.
At Ice House, you had a cold reception.
We think Sandy might like your material.
Oh, by the way, I won't name any names, but I once a comedian friend of mine, I won't name any names, said she performed at the Ice House, right? And I said, I heard it was a cold reception, and she was not happy. But I thought it was funny. I thought it was a funny joke. No, she did not. No. Oh. You know why? Because I was the first person to respond to her post, and I get that. If there was a lot of responses and bravo, congratulations,
and
then the cold reception joke,
yep,
she might have appreciated it more. But the fact that it was the first one, it kind of it's like trolling.
Yeah.
But I thought it was funny.
I think it's funny. I would have laughed at that.
Yeah. And it's funny because I've never heard anyone make that joke before, but it's such an obvious joke.
Yeah, it's a very obvious joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm an obvious joke, dad joke kind of guy. Puns
and dad jokes. Yeah, you're all about that.
Dad jokes have come back, though.
They are.
They're more popular
People
than
love
ever.
them.
Yeah.
Okay, look, here we go. Next story. Church leaders urge the government to ban pointed kitchen knives. Why?
Church leaders have asked the government
To ban pointy kitchen knives.
in America
I don't know.
to ban pointed kitchen knives. That's definitely weird. I don't know why church leaders are so concerned about pointed kitchen knives.
This is in the UK. They've written
in the
letter,
UK.
They've written a letter asking for a ban on the sale of pointed kitchen knives. The letter was signed by the leading crime experts as well as MPs and community leaders.
Are church leaders being targeted with kitchen knives or something?
I don't know. Let me get to the article here.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean,
Okay,
if it's a
apparently
problem.
the statistics show that in the UK there was an 80% rise in knife crimes since 2014. So the people who have signed this request to the government have urged them to take urgent measures to promote the sale of safe kitchen knife designs. Safe kitchen knife designs.
Oh, and it's just the point of a kitchen knife. It's not the main.
Not the edge.
Not
right?
the edge.
Restrict those designs which have been used in so many acts of violence. So if a kitchen knife has been used in acts of violence, they want it to be changed.
But even a blunt. I'm just going to be, for argument's sake, a blunt kitchen knife with a sharp side. You know, obviously someone could cut you with that,
Like a cleaver.
But even if someone did a pointed attack, right? It would penetrate you.
It would penetrate. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think you're solving this
Unless
case
you have
with this.
a child nicking you.
Right.
It's gonna hurt you. But I guess they're worried about the lethal hit.
Yeah, I believe so. Here's a quote. Historically, we needed a point on the end of our knife to pick up food because forks weren't invented yet. Now we only need the point to open packets when we can't be bothered to find the scissors.
This is a more extreme case of even banning assault rifles in the States. Banning kitchen knives. I mean, imagine if we had this issue here in the States.
I love
People
that.
are upset about banning plastic. You know, there's a lot of conservatives who are like, screw this no plastic policy, this plastic straw thing. Like, I want to suck on plastic straws all my life. There's a lot of moral outrage about that in our country. So I can't imagine what would happen if we banned pointed kitchen knives.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we're not going to, I mean, we got how many mass shootings and we're not banning guns? Do you think we're nowhere close to banning these knives? The article goes on to say that huge issues with knife crime over there in the UK, which is a place where guns are not permitted.
Less prevalent.
The choice of weapon when it comes to crimes over there
they're permitted for hunting.
Is a knife. Okay, so they got
hunting.
For hunting.
So
okay.
There's certain license for hunting, but you're not allowed to have them.
So until recently, the cops in the UK only carried a stick, no guns. Bobbies, exactly. And that is
right.
That is
mace.
a result.
They probably have mace or something.
Probably have mace.
I wonder if they have tasers.
They're beginning. I guess now it's pretty common for them to have guns, but for the longest time they did not because there's really no gun crime over there. Knife crime is what's prevalent. And look at what they're trying to make. The church has a role to play in this, as there's like lobbyists and whatever that are trying to get these kitchen knives changed.
Hey, you pick a cause in life. That's their cause.
I love that. I think it's.
I'm not going to judge it. I mean, these are It's like, is this one church leader or a faction of church leaders? Is this like a big, highly supported thing?
It looks like it's...
Or one man who's, or a woman who's upset. I guess it wouldn't be a woman as a church leader, but it could be.
Yeah, it's a few, it looks like it's... Yeah, the article doesn't say exactly.
Why aren't there any female priests and popes? It's a male hierarchy kind of thing.
Oh yeah, it's a male-dominant.
There are none, right?
Ideology.
There are none. There are nuns. There are nuns, but there's no male nuns, are there?
I don't believe so.
Definitely no transgender.
Oh, that could be a thing, though.
The times are changing.
Times are changing.
We might see that in our lifetime.
We might see transgender nuns in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Drag queen nuns. Nuns. I'm okay with that.
You know what's being passed around by a lot of conservatives these days?
LSD?
Out of disgust. And I'm actually maybe on their side about this, but I don't know enough. Because again, I'm a headline article guy. This is passed around a lot. I see this all the time from conservative people on Twitter about drag queens performing at kids' birthday parties.
Oh yes,
have you seen this?
I've covered this story before.
So what do you think about this?
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Okay, you don't think it's inappropriate for the it's not even the way they look and who they are. It's sometimes their actions, their performances.
Oh, are they
seem to be a little bit?
Are they
a little bit like burlesque stuff?
Oh, are they removing their clothes in front of children?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that's probably not appropriate.
And like they're like, oh, it's fun and it's like, and it's modern and contemporary and
I thought they were
open
just
and accepting
DJing and dancing, maybe.
No problem with that. I think they take it a little further.
They do a striptease, maybe?
Kind of.
For children?
It seems like that, but again, I think they're these stories are being twisted by the conservative news media or these people.
Could be.
I need to know more, but they're painting it in a way where it's very inappropriate.
I don't think it's appropriate to have scantily clad dancers.
Oh, it's drag queens who are reading to kids.
So I think that's.
But they're
totally
doing like performance stuff too.
I heard about this reading to kids. In fact, I want to say there was an incident where the drag queen was scheduled to read to children at a public library. And the community was in uproar over this. Like, this drag queen should not be allowed to read to these children at the public library.
But simply because they're drag queens.
Because they're a drag queen.
Yeah.
And I disagree with that.
I disagree with that.
I think that's terrible.
Of course.
Yeah.
Anything that's about non-acceptance is terrible. But I still feel like whether you're a girl, guy, trans, whatever you are, doing inappropriate things in front of children is deemed inappropriate.
That's not right.
Be. But that's also on a spectrum, I guess. People, what's inappropriate.
I mean, there's no stopping you from becoming a parent, unfortunately. And if you have some warped view of reality and loose morals, and you want to have a stripper at your son's 12th birthday party, I guess, unfortunately, we live in a world where you can kind of do that. It was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I wish that wasn't possible, but it is.
Another reason why I like your long black mic?
Why?
Because it's lighter than mine. I have to keep changing hands.
Oh, you have to keep...
Yeah. Not kidding. You just changed it again. Do you even notice how many times I've changed it?
I haven't changed.
And I work out, man.
I haven't noticed it.
And it's still heavy.
Do you feel like you're getting a good forearm workout?
Well, when you hold something out, anything, even if it's 5 pounds or 2 pounds, even 2 pounds, a 2 pound weight, you hold it out, you're going to get tired within a couple minutes.
You're convincing me that for these bonus episodes, I need to get a mic.
Well, I'm barely hanging on right now.
I have a tiny little mic stand. I should have brought it.
I didn't work out today. I'm getting my workout.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
burn some calories.
You're pretty buff, man.
Thank you. I'm just fishing right now. So thank you.
Fishing.
And now I am actually interested in the rest of your sandwich because I've worked up an appetite.
Yeah, because you've been lifting that 8-ounce mic.
So 8 ounces. You talk about things that have weight in ounces. Really? What about pounds? 8 ounces.
I don't even think it's a pound.
You just wanted to come up with like the lowest.
Is it a pound? It could be a pound. I don't think it's a pound.
It's definitely a pound.
It's definitely a pound? Okay.
This is I think a 2-pounder.
That's a 2-pounder?
Yeah, I think it's a 2-pounder.
This isn't maybe
That's nothing.
1 pound. This is nothing right here.
That's nothing. And by the way, you're barely holding. You're resting. So you can. I can't bring this mic down to there.
Do you have a table?
I don't need a stand. I'm just
saying. You need a table stand. I feel like you're guilting me into getting a table stand out here. Oh man.
What's next? Let's go.
A Disneyland Paris visitor on a bad LSD trip falls into Adventureland Lake.
This is the greatest story.
Turns up naked after a 130-person search.
I heard about this, by the way.
You heard about this?
And I immediately was excited about the story.
Did you just read the title?
Yes, I only read the title.
You only read titles?
Well, that title is very expressive and illustrating of this.
And the title didn't entice you to read any of the details?
Well, I felt like I got the whole story there, but I'm sure there's a lot more.
Okay, well, let's see, because I don't know.
That's a long headline, by the way.
It's very long. It's like a whole paragraph. This guy's from Switzerland, Swiss man.
Wait, was this a nightmare or a wonderful experience? That's what I want to know first.
Let's see.
Yeah.
He went missing over the weekend, when this is over a month ago.
Wow.
After falling into a Disneyland Paris lake.
Oh, wow.
While allegedly under the influence of LSD, he was found naked and confused after a 130-person search and rescue effort.
Oh my God.
32 years old.
Oh, was he alone?
He was reported missing on a Friday night by his 30-year-old girlfriend, who told the police that her boyfriend fell into an Adventureland lake and didn't resurface after she gave him the hallucinogenic drug. So
she dosed him. Not dosed him.
Well, she gave it to him.
She gave it to him, but didn't go with him? As a spirit guide? Like, she just, let him go alone? Who does that?
Well, I don't know. Maybe she was in her own world.
Look, it sounds like a lot of fun, but it also is a risky proposition.
You know how these drugs work, man. She might have lost herself in a caterpillar in the corner, and then
so she was there.
She's clearly there, right?
Okay, I hope she was there.
She witnessed
I at least hope she was there.
She gave him the.
Oh, she witnessed it. Okay.
She witnessed him go into the lake,
gotcha.
but then didn't.
He didn't resurface.
Didn't resurface.
That's right. He's very lucky.
Yes. She alerted the park officials that the man was missing, and a search party was quickly formed with 30 firefighters, 10 divers, 10 policemen, 80 Disneyland Paris employees, and a police helicopter with thermal imaging camera. What the fuck?
And they couldn't find the guy.
This is a lot.
I wonder what happened.
This is
I
the
want to know
whole
what happened
SWAT
on his
team
journey.
for a missing guy on LSD in a lake in Disneyland?
Well, they didn't.
Your child could go missing in Los Angeles, and you'd be lucky if 4 policemen on horseback go looking for the bitch.
Come on, you think that's true?
Yes!
You don't think they would pull out all the stops for a child?
Maybe, but not 10 divers, 10 policemen.
And where was this? Where did this
Police
happen? In
helicopter
Paris?
with thermal imaging.
This is Disneyland Paris?
Disneyland Paris.
I gotta say, first off, that sounds like an incredible... I bet this guy had an amazing time. You really think this was a nightmare? Because look, I think it was a nightmare for everyone else surrounding him.
Oh yeah,
I think
sure.
he had a blast.
Oh, I probably had a great time.
Because he clearly didn't drown.
No.
He's alive.
No.
So you have to figure that there might have been some terror for a little bit, but I think he probably got washed ashore very quickly, right? He wasn't in the lake, obviously. He wasn't like
Right.
submerged. He wasn't on the bottom. And I wonder how much he did too.
I gotta tell you though,
I've never done acid, by the way. I have nothing to say about this other than...
Okay, well, I mean, we could speak about it. I mean, I feel like this is just my personal thing on it. I feel like it's a waste of an LSD tablet to just take it and then just wade around in a lake. Like,
Well, he was at Disneyland. That's a lot of stuff to interact with.
Dude, fucking go into It's a Small World. You're on acid, bro. Have the mind blown.
But you don't think he did that? You think he just went on a lake
It
thing?
sounds like it.
What was the lake? Was that a ride on a lake?
No, it's just a man-made lake near Pirates Beach.
Okay, so he was.
It's a children's play area surrounded by
so
water.
He interacted with the play area and the water on his trip.
I guess so.
And he fell into the. He fell off a boat into the water, or just wandered.
He
into the
took
water?
all his clothes off and waded into the lake.
Gotcha.
And went swimming in it.
And that was it. That was the last she saw of him.
Yeah. And they had to call divers, professional divers.
So it was really like a moment of ecstasy where he was just like, I'm going to take all my clothes off, go into the lake, peaking on LSD.
Sure.
And then it turned sour.
How do you not go into the Pirates of the Caribbean, though? I mean, just really get,
Well,
I mean...
I know. I mean,
Or the haunted house?
Well, that sounds a little intense.
Maybe. Probably
Pirates, too. I don't know if I want that. It's a lot of negative vibes.
Could you handle It's a Small World?
Well, you know what? The music would bother me. No, the music.
The music would
I couldn't
do it?
handle it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the proper ride is for LSD at Disney, I gotta say. Maybe something mellow, like the, what's the tram one that just kind of goes around and you see the whole thing?
I'm not sure.
It's like an air...
Well, don't they all have different things? Like,
yeah. Well, they all have Space Mountain.
Well, Space Mountain, they all have, really.
Which is my fave.
What about Thunder Mountain?
I guess they probably all have Thunder Mountain. That's a waterlogged
Space
ride.
is actually very scary because it's pitch black, you know.
I love that about it, but I don't know if I would like it on LSD.
Well, it might be amazing, actually.
Yeah, it probably could be. You know what? Maybe I'm saying anything.
Well, you see stars in Space Mountain, right? It's pitch black, but you see like
maybe
galaxies
a little bit.
and stars.
There's some flashing lights here and there. You know, even something as simple on acid.
So the guy was discovered, though. He's fine.
He's fine. Yeah, the thermal helicopter, I'm sure.
Oh, is that what found him here?
Maybe. If not the 10 divers, the 27 firefighters.
Wait, was he discovered in the lake or
somewhere
somewhere else?
The Parisian army.
Does it say where he was discovered?
The 42nd platoon of the Parisian Marines.
It's crazy. They brought out everybody. Was
said
this guy an important guy? Was he a member, part of the 1% of
you want so much information
Parisian?
About these articles don't get into it like you want.
I know. There's just a lack of investigative journalism these days.
A lot more effort was placed into trying to find the guy than actually reporting what actually happened. 30 firefighters? 30?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I feel like that's all the firefighters in LA. Maybe not, but...
Yeah.
Is that all the firefighters in Paris? What the fuck? I'm blown away by this.
What a story, though. You know, tell your grandkids.
I got a guy outside my window.
But also highly irresponsible. I don't know if I want to be a role model and tell that story.
This is just a place where you can appreciate the swift response of help. You know, in LA, we don't get that. A homeless person could be slamming my face against my car's hood over and over again, and you could call 911 and it would take 2 hours for LAPD to get there. But yet in Paris, apparently, you go missing in a lake, 30 firefighters. It's not even a big lake. It's a tiny lake that's probably 3 feet deep that no one could drown in, yet they send a helicopter to rescue you. Unbelievable here. Blown away.
I have nothing else to say on this subject. But I think it's great.
Here's something you might have something to say about. Okay, this is about technology and the fallout of technology.
Okay.
Using your phone on the toilet is giving you hemorrhoids, doctors warn. Did you know about that? That's what it's saying.
Whoa.
We've all done it, but it could cause you serious health problems, including hemorrhoids. Also,
is that because you're just your junk is exposed and your asshole's exposed while you have a phone? Because why wouldn't that affect your? Why wouldn't you get hemorrhoids just with clothes? Like, is the fact that you're naked?
Well, the problem, it says here, originates from sitting on the throne for too long, scrolling through your phone.
It has nothing to do with the technology. It's just the sitting for too long.
Apparently, it's the sitting?
It's not like the waves, the harmful waves of the phone. It's not the...
You thought it was the...
I thought it was related to the technology itself, or the 4G, LTE, light waves, or whatever they are.
Yes.
People are really up in arms and scared about 5G, by the way. You know that? It's very controversial.
Yeah, and I did a story about a woman who sleeps in a copper-lined sleeping bag or something because she's afraid of Wi-Fi as well.
Well, I've never... That's extreme, okay?
Very extreme.
I have two friends, though, that will not allow cell phones in their home, or if you are, you have to be on airplane mode. And they've also covered all of their wires with this like protective sheath and covering.
Yes. Okay.
So there are people who do go to these extremes. I've never heard of a copper coffin kind of thing.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
And this particular woman was trying to convince the community that she lived in to ban Wi-Fi. She wanted it gone from everywhere.
I mean...
Which is very unreasonable.
Here's the thing. We don't know the long-term effects. I'll say that right now.
We do not.
I can't definitively say that I'm going to be okay in 20 years. I don't know. But I do think mind over matters. I think the fact that you're stressing so much about it is probably causing more harm.
That's what I said in the article, too. It's like there's no way to calculate the amount of stress and strain you're putting on your mental state and and therefore seeping into your physical body by living with that anxiety and like trying to reconfigure your whole life to avoid that.
Right.
You might as well just take it in some smaller doses and just be a relaxed person.
Or just come to peace with it, come to terms with it.
Come to terms with it, come to be at peace with it.
Because it's very, I mean, unless you can, in a stressless kind of way, or, you know, a stress-free kind of way, stressless, I don't think is a word, but where if you can cancel it out of your life without, and minimize everything, minimize the stress at the same time. But I feel like it's a big undertaking in today's society, unless you're off the grid completely.
Sure.
And so these people that we know are on the grid still doing this and are, you know, having all these measures and routines and ritualistic behavior to be off the grid while on the grid. That's pretty hard.
What are you going to do, walk around in a copper-lined hazmat suit?
Pretty much. I mean, talk about tinfoil hats, you know.
Tinfoil hats, yeah. So, this is what's going on, too, and I didn't know this, because I know a little bit about hemorrhoids, right? I've never had any, but...
Oh, I've had... Okay, go on.
Oh, geez, okay. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have many stories, but I have one story about it.
You have one story? I have never had hemorrhoids, knock on wood.
I'm going to take a bite out of this?
Yeah, go right ahead. So it says constipation and straining is a major risk for hemorrhoids, as you know. While you poo, constipation and straining, right? We knew that. But also, didn't know this, prolonged sitting on the toilet can also lead to hemorrhoids. Didn't know that. That's helpful.
I don't understand.
I don't know how that is.
Yeah.
Because what about sitting in a regular chair? No? What's the difference between sitting on the toilet and sitting in a regular chair?
No, I think sitting on a chair will also produce, like people who sit in an office all day.
Oh, that does also produce.
Yeah.
Just sitting down for countless amounts of time? I didn't know this.
I don't have hemorrhoids very often. In fact, I've only had them once. It surprised me because I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a tumor.
Whoa! You thought it was a butt tumor?
Yeah, because it's totally. Like, I never looked up hemorrhoids before. I never looked at I never Googled the image. You know. So
you didn't scan your ass.
Touching it, discovering it. You know how everything feels bigger than it really is, especially in your mouth or whatever. Not that a hemorrhoid's in your mouth.
You're like, it's a tumor. It's definitely a tumor.
You're like, holy shit! And it's got like some weight to it. It's like
mass.
It's not mass.
Yeah.
It freaks you out. Until you discover what it is, it freaks you out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thankful I know what they are. Like, if I had found something like that on my butthole, I would be very concerned. Very, very concerned. Yeah. A friend of mine's got these things bad, man.
Oh, God.
Bad. Oh, the poor guy sometimes.
I'm not going to name any names,
dude
but
can't-
I
the dude's
know
like-
someone who has them all the time.
Oh my God, I
A
don't know
good
how.
friend of mine.
I don't know how they live.
He's prone to hemorrhoids.
Oh God, it's such torture.
Terrible.
I feel so bad.
And like there's Preparation H, there's things you can do. You know that? Preparation H, that cream?
I've seen the commercials. Yeah, not familiar.
Just
with
like
it.
people with dandruff use Head and Shoulders.
Yes,
But I don't have that problem either,
Sure,
thank
sure.
God. Thank God.
and people with crabs.
Dusty hair. Ugh.
People with crabs use Crab Be Gone.
No, that's fake. But that's hilarious. And that's a great product name. Because
Order Crab Be Gone.
are crabs common? I don't hear about people with crabs.
I don't really either. Are they extinct?
It's a funny sexually transmitted disease.
Well, we've done away with a lot of pubic hair, so there's not as much pubic hair around, right? So maybe
Is pubic hair a contributor?
for sure, crabs.
It's
they,
like lice?
They thrive in
Like
the pubic hair.
lice?
Yeah. So there's probably a lot of crabs in maybe France, but like not the rest of the world, right?
You'd assume.
Persia.
Oh my
Is that a
God,
place?
yeah. No, but the bushes.
Middle East.
The bushes have come back though.
Oh, the bushes are making a comeback. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is true. Okay. So
Also underarm hair in a big way.
and so does that mean crabs is on the comeback as well? I don't want to hear this, man. Don't tell me it's
I don't
true.
know the statistics, and I have no reason to look it up.
You only read headlines, anyways.
Yeah.
You're not gonna dive into a crab article.
There's not enough hours in the day to research crabs.
There's not enough hours in the day to research crabs.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right, sir. You're absolutely right.
I'm performing at Ice House all week.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Here's a
Amateur hour.
here's a very concerning story.
Okay. Oh.
Okay. You're gonna be not. It's related to toilets again. So let's keep with the theme of toilets here.
God, I'm eating right now. Great.
Oh boy, sorry. This won't be as bad as the hemorrhoid one, I promise you.
Okay.
Rising sea levels will make it harder for 60 million people in the U.S. to flush their toilets. Did you know about that?
Okay.
You know something about this?
I don't know anything about it.
What are you, a part-time plumber? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Anybody who knows that
That's
song
a
that I
great
just
parody
parodied?
song.
I was just going to say, anybody who knows I just parodied that shit would appreciate it.
Yeah, that's
We
pretty funny.
are undercover plumbers on the run. Yeah, snaking toilets.
Like just that line alone, I want to see in a parody.
Snaking toilets?
No, well that too, but just undercover plumbers on the run.
What is that all about?
I don't know, but I want to see that with Will Ferrell or someone.
Undercover plumbers?
John C. Reilly, Will Ferrell.
They're breaking into homes and unclogging drains.
But I think that's the least of our problems, rising sea levels causing plumbing issues, but
Yeah, you think?
and there's other things that we should worry about with rising sea levels.
Yeah, you think?
However, I am a proponent of, and it's
You're-
more expensive toilet, but you can get an accessory that attaches to the toilet. You know, like the one flush or the two flush?
Sure.
I always go for the one flush. I always try, if they have the one flush, if they have the option, I try to conserve the water.
Yeah? Okay. Yes.
Yeah, because you're
As do I.
Because it doesn't take a lot to flush poop or whatever. It doesn't take a lot. You don't need the two flush.
Right. I don't
So
do the two flush.
I'm all about
really.
conserving.
Yeah.
Like being in a relationship. If there's ever a chance to take or an opportunity to take the shower together, I take the shower together.
Lily, is this true? You guys shower together quite a bit?
Well, it's kind of annoying because we have to step out of each other's way and be like, okay, wash my hair.
Shorter shower too. You probably can save much water except for like the turning on and heating up the water.
Yeah, because all the negotiating around each other to get all the work that you need to get done now.
That's the problem, the negotiating around each other.
As long as you
You know what? Because one of us,
But and then you can't shave your legs in while he's in there, right? You gotta get out while I shave my legs. I mean, all the showering I've done with my women, I'm always like, oh, let me get out so you can shave your legs because you need to stretch and shit.
that, and also one of us is going to be cold for like a few seconds here and there because, we're not under the water.
Yeah,
that's frustrating.
That's frustrating. That the first world problem,
But I still think,
still a problem.
No, but I still think about conservation of water as much as I can.
I appreciate that about you. Let me read a little bit about the article.
I also heard something though about icebergs melting, and this again is probably from a conservative news source, but because I try to read both sides. But
How lovely of you.
the fact that there are some scientists, I don't know who these scientists are, they're cherry picked, I'm sure, but who believe that the melting of icebergs is not going to, like basically when ice melts in water, it doesn't cause the sea level to rise.
Really?
There are some people. Who believe
really?
That this is what's being spread.
Do these people?
Don't get mad at me.
Do these people?
Don't get mad at me.
I'm not mad at you.
You seem angry. You're heightened.
I'm like, really, scientists? Are you the same scientists that are hanging out with the flat earthers on the weekend? Get the fuck out of my face with your scientific theory, scientists. The sea levels don't rise.
I guess I should have mentioned earlier on that I'm a flat earther.
Shit.
I do.
Then you'll love my next story. That is ridiculous, and I denounce the authenticity of these scientists' credentials, if I may do so. But apparently the UN report released this week shows that the sea level is rising around the globe. Okay, we all know that. This means people who live in coastal cities face risks, losing their property, sometimes their life. It's going to make it harder for more than 60 million in the U.S. to flush their toilets. I had no idea, because about 1 in 5 of U.S. households...
That's pretty crazy.
1 in 5 U.S. households rely on septic systems, according to the U.S. EPA.
Okay.
It's a type of sanitary system that has worked since ancient Egyptian times, but the climate crisis and septic systems don't mix. These systems will be vulnerable to sea level rise and heavy rains.
Wow.
Huh. I didn't know that.
So
no, it doesn't
you got to
say...
be selective about when you go number 2.
Yep.
And when you do, hopefully they're manageable.
Yes.
You know?
You don't want to see...
You don't want a big log.
You don't want to see your neighbor's dookie floating in your lawn, right?
Oh, no.
You don't want to see that. I agree with you, though. Of all the concerns with sea level rise, this is the least of our concerns.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, do you guys know?
No.
It'll be tough to flush the toilet when the sea levels rise 300 feet.
Plumbing.
Oh, yeah. It'll also be tough for me to see out my first story window because it'll be underwater.
Yeah.
And I'll have no car.
It's not.
And my dog will be floating away.
Right. It's not irrigation. I think it is plumbing that I'm thinking about. But there's the game Civilization, Sid Meier's. It's like SimCity, but you build civilizations and then have them fight each other, but you have to survive as a civilization. One of the main things, advancements, is plumbing, I believe. I mean, plumbing is important.
Yes, it is.
It's very important. Imagine a world without plumbing.
I can't imagine.
It'd be a shitty situation.
Oh my God.
Dad joke. Boom. Ice house all week, Friday night.
You're nailing You're nailing these.
They make people laugh because they're just on the nose. They're on the nose. I'm an on the nose comedian.
I love it. My listeners are going to go bananas over your dad jokes here. Your puns. Unbelievable.
Thank you.
You want to take a shower?
No.
I'll join you.
The article goes on and on and on and on about the combination of sea level rise and these other conditions and how contamination is really a possibility, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to have untreated sewage in our area waters as a result of this thing. That's what's going to really happen. So your drinking water, right? Let's say you got a drinking water. It's in a reservoir. Rising sea waters screw up the plumbing, which overflows into the natural area,
yes.
and then the sewage seeps into the drinking water. Fucked. Unless the drinking water's in tanks. It's going to be...
You got to purchase life straws. You know what life straws are?
Yes, I know what life straws are.
You can suck up shit and it still comes out pure.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
But
I don't know if
that's a very
I guess
good
they
question.
are plastic, but to save your life.
Yeah. I mean, at what point are we going to embrace the life straws? Look at...
I only use bamboo life straws, so I can't speak of plastic life straws.
Well, you just really give a
shit I do.
About the environment.
There you go.
You give a shit about hemorrhoids. Here's another weird story.
I can take a few more questions.
Okay, a few more. The feds ask Ames officials, Ames must be a town or city, to remove inclusive crosswalks. What could those be? This is Ames, Iowa. The U.S. Department of Transportation's Federal Highway Administration sent a letter to the city of Ames saying that the city...
This sounds very bigoted.
I believe so. Let's see.
Holy shit.
The city's inclusive, multicolored sidewalks do not meet the code.
What?
Yes, according to the officials. They prohibit the use of anything but white paint in crosswalks and noted its official interpretation that colored crosswalks or art in crosswalks are not allowed. These new inclusive crosswalks were installed at 5th and Douglas last month.
Wait.
They feature a minority inclusive rainbow and non-binary pride colors.
Okay.
Featuring pride transgender colors. But the letter goes on to state that this needs to be removed.
Wow.
Yeah.
And are they making the argument that it's just not safe to have these alternate colors or alternate, like, other than white? Is that what they're saying? Or is that like the mask they're using to hide their racism or their bigotry? Is that what's happening right now? Is that what you're reading to me?
It doesn't say what the exact language is.
But is that what they're trying to say?
I believe so.
That
They
it's
say
a
our
safety
regulations,
issue.
regulations don't allow this, and I assume it's for safety
That's
reasons.
what they're trying it to say.
Yes.
It sounds pretty fucked up.
I mean, what's wrong with colorful crosswalks? I don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't. I would still recognize it as a crosswalk. Is that the issue?
Yeah, you wouldn't be like, oh, what is this?
It's a rainbow that's just in the road that happens to be where a car stops and starts.
Oh, did someone leave a game of Twister in the middle of the street?
Oh, let's play a game right here.
What's with all these colors? Is that a rainbow reflecting on the ground?
I mean, first of all, I've never seen a rainbow crosswalk.
Neither have I.
I would welcome it, but I don't also
So would
think
I.
like, is this really happening that often? Like, I've never seen that happen.
I'm a fan of
Color.
Let's get novel.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not have a crosswalk that's not just plain old white?
But
Make
it
rainbow.
makes me think, though, is there actually a history of certain things being painted white as, like, having racist undertones? I've never heard of I mean, that's interesting. Could be.
I don't know about that.
Why has white been used for certain things in the past in certain racially divided countries or districts?
Well, I just think the white crosswalk and the white lines in the road all comes from this is the cheapest way to maintain.
The most
in my-
accessible paint is white.
Right? It's
I
the
don't know.
cheapest, and let's just do this. Let's keep it very simple, and it allows it to
I
be
hope so.
uniform across various state lines and federal highways. Everybody's using white, and I
Right.
mean, I think that's what's going on. But I am definitely all for novelty. Anything to mix things up a little bit. I don't see what's wrong with a colorful little crosswalk. In fact, the little man on the light that's walking, the little white guy. Why don't you make that guy rainbow too? Who gives a shit? Why don't you put a clown face on him? I don't care. Make him a ninja. I don't give a damn. Ooh, a ninja! It's ninja crossing. How fun.
Sure.
Is that racist?
I don't know. Everyone's on the spectrum with sensitivity, what bothers them and their own experience and coming from their own. Like we have a friend who won't do anything or won't participate in anything that involves heritage or a tradition of slavery. One of those being just picking apples. Okay.
Won't pick an apple?
Well, because the idea of picking is a slave-derived kind of action or whatever, just because picking cotton or whatever's picked and anything. So picking across the board, not something he's interested in doing.
Okay. I guess I respect that.
Yeah.
Sure. I know people that won't pick anyways because it's just like a lot of times you're paying to do your own manual labor there.
Right, but I don't think
Like,
about
why
that.
am I paying?
Yeah.
Why don't you pick it? I give you the money. This is the transaction
Sure.
we're doing. I'm not going to pay you and I pick.
I never thought about that before, though. Just being, I guess, someone of privilege or being a white person, that would bother certain people. I never considered that in my life.
No.
Or there's certain activities, like I heard that, and I have a friend who's actually on the, who's like, she's African American and she's really into outdoorsy activity and also rock climbing and stuff. And there really isn't a lot of representation in outdoor or rock climbing activities for African Americans or people of color, right? Mm-hmm. So she's kind of made it her mission to, which I think is amazing, but I just think it's so odd though. Like, why is it not a pastime that a lot of people of color, diversity take part in? But I've heard that rock climbing and certain things are considered like, I don't know, they were non-inclusive years ago, and for that reason, people don't want to participate today.
Mm-hmm.
But she's all for it. Like, she loves rock climbing and wants to make brands awake to or aware of the fact that there are a lot of diverse people who do this, take part in it.
With rock climbing, I don't feel comfortable lumping rock climbing into some of these other categories because rock climbing is also dangerous. That's like saying, geez, why don't enough African Americans participate in skydiving? Why not? I mean, these are special, high risk activities. Like, I don't think it's a race thing. I don't think we're all going, well, can we let some black people in this event?
Well, I don't find I find the world, because I've been rock climbing a lot, indoor rock climbing. I don't find the world exclusive at all. I find it very inclusive and very welcoming as a community. But I think she's talking more about the brands, like the REIs of the world or Patagonia, that represent
Outdoor sports?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what she's referring to.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I agree. Then, yeah. Sure.
There was once this YouTube sketch. It was like maybe a Comedy Central kind of bit of hikers in California going on a hike and seeing this African American guy played by Blair Underwood, I believe it was Blair Underwood, hiking. But they got freaked out that he was hiking. And he was just like, what's the big deal? I'm hiking here. And it was like this very funny bit because, apparently there's not a lot of people of color hiking.
Oh, really?
I mean, maybe today things have changed, but there was a bit built around like an SNL sketch kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I did find it kind of humorous because they were poking. It was a social commentary kind of bit, but I never gave it much thought until this bit.
Yeah. That's a
like there's certain activities that only it's a very cultural thing,
Sure, and
whether it's bowling or golf or there's crossover obviously, but in terms of people feeling comfortable, it's just about comfort. They want to feel comfortable, playing these games or doing these activities, and they don't feel like it's inclusive enough. It's interesting.
Yeah, the other thing is like, so I think we're a little hung up on like, that's not inclusive because not people from all backgrounds are doing it. And so then they look at that industry and go, what's wrong with you? Aren't you letting them in? And I don't think that's the case. I think that just people come, what do you do? What do you do in life? You behave as a result of your upbringing, your background, your cultural heritage, whatever that is. And sometimes you're brought up in a world where outdoor activities just really isn't on the menu. Whatever the hell you are. You're an Inuit. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
How many Inuits play basketball?
Depends on your upbringing. Depends on.
Yeah.
Right, but it also depends on.
That's not to say that these industries and these sports are not inclusive, like making a proactive effort to not be inclusive, which is what some people are saying. I'm just saying, like.
Well, like I don't know if it's
should we really force these people and make an effort to like, hey man, check out fucking, snowboarding.
Well, I'm trying to think of like the shoe being on like the other foot, like something analogous or comparable, like look with the rap game, for instance. Like I don't really particularly feel comfortable stepping into the rap game in a big way. Mainly because it's not necessarily a race.
Oh, you don't get into freestyle groups on the weekends?
It's more the street cred thing. Like I don't think I have the street cred or enough of a skill, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I don't really necessarily see it as a race thing. It's more about that.
Yeah. And that's not your background, but like,
right? But it's not my background. And then, of course, there's Eminem, and there's a few other. Yeah. There's some white rappers out there.
Now,
but very few.
One could make the point where somebody from, let's say, a different, an ethnic background, a particular ethnic background, goes into snowboarding.
Sure.
Let's just say.
Yeah.
Which I think we can all agree, snowboarding is a Nordic event.
There's a lot
of white people snowboarding. That's probably 90% of the population that's snowboarding is probably white people, right?
Sure. Probably, yeah.
Right? So, like, perhaps someone from a different background doesn't quite feel comfortable snowboarding because they don't see representation there,
There's not enough of their...
But I don't think, again, you blame that industry or anything like that, or you say that these people are trying to...
Unless they're actively keeping people out.
Which is never going to be...
Which I don't think is...
In private country clubs, sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Well, private country clubs just suck in general.
But on the fucking public ski slopes, you think that's happening? No. You think it's happening in the skydiving industry or the rock climbing joint in downtown?
There might be isolated cases of people being bigoted or having attitudes.
Here's where the problem might lie. The problem might lie is, okay, somebody different comes in. It's the onus is upon the rest of us to make that person, although alone, feel as comfortable as possible trying this new fucking thing. Whatever. And that's just being a reasonable human being. And it doesn't just involve activities. That involves your whole fucking life. And unfortunately, in general, people are not so reasonable all the time, which is a shame. Okay, and so I don't think it's like this, it's that, and I think it's just the overall climate of like be fucking reasonable, man, and make people feel comfortable all the time, no matter what you're doing.
Right.
If they're different than you, just always make them fucking feel comfortable.
Make an effort, yeah.
Make an effort, man, to embrace diversity, to embrace the different. It's all about the fucking different. Why are we so uncomfortable with the different? Do you not have fucking the internet,
other,
you
yeah.
dumbass? Are you
Yeah.
not exposing yourself to the different by watching all these documentaries, by, you know, listening to all the music that was ever
Sure.
produced that is on the internet right the fuck now? You want to listen to French trap music? It is there. It is upon you that it should be your responsibility as a human being to fucking familiarize yourself with the different and be comfortable with the different, because the boundaries are dropping everywhere, okay?
Yeah.
Which means that with the thing that you normally do and you don't see different people there, that
Right.
every Sunday that you go and do that thing, well, eventually get used to it.
There's
gonna
no
be
excuse.
some different people.
There's no excuse anymore.
So be reasonable.
yeah.
That's my, that was.
End rant, drop mic, drop your long black mic.
I go on these kinds of things all the time.
Oh, you do?
My fucking listeners are like, all right, enough already. Jesus.
I didn't want to interrupt you. I just wanted you to have a clean take.
I appreciate you.
Okay.
Whew, all right, I'm off my soapbox here. This I got a story that's very weird, and it involves, it's another ocean-related story. A Russian Navy boat sinks after being attacked by a walrus.
A Russian Navy boat sinks a walrus.
Did you hear about this?
No. A
didn't read
Navy
this?
boat and a walrus? How big was this walrus?
I have no idea. Let's find out.
I heard manatees are very dangerous, but I've never heard of walruses like affecting a boat.
I know you think it would be something bigger, like
Manatees flip boats all the time.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they're one of the top killers in the world.
flipping
Flipping boats.
Navy boats.
Not Navy boats, smaller boats.
Smaller boats.
But they capsize boats all the time.
And then what to the drivers? Kill them and shit.
They might,
Okay.
but it's mainly about the capsizing that kills them.
They're into capsizing.
Yeah, mosquitoes and manatees are some of the top killers in the world. Because mosquitoes carry malaria. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I looked this up once because I'm
Is
fearful.
it all animals?
fearful of
Is it all
things.
wildlife that begins with the letter M?
Yeah, it's only M's.
Mongoose? Do I got to be worried about the
Oh
mongoose?
my god, mongooses are pretty bad.
Oh my goodness. What about the
Yeah.
monarch butterfly? Oh my god, if I pull its wings, that's why I'm pulling wings.
Because they're so dangerous.
Those monarch butterflies are dangerous, bro. See how we brought it all back around?
I can't even think of another animal that starts with M. You've gone through them all. I'm trying hard.
You're trying? It's just, monkey?
Oh, monkey, yes.
So a walrus attacked and sunk a Russian Navy landing boat. Landing boat, probably one of those smaller skiffs.
Yes.
No one was hurt. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, the female animal was protecting its calves when it targeted the craft carrying researchers to the shore of Cape Geller in the Arctic.
I hope they didn't kill this walrus.
I hope so too. It makes me not
Because the
wanna-
walrus is just being a walrus.
Oh man. Those on board were members of a joint expedition. Okay. The ministry said serious troubles were avoided thanks to the clear and well-coordinated actions of the Northern Fleet servicemen who were able to take the boat away from the animals without harming them. Yay!
Thank God.
The boat had sunk, but they confirmed that everybody reached shore safely.
Okay.
The incident is another confirmation that no one is expecting humans in the Arctic.
Wow.
Yes. Well, hey man, you get near.
This is the Arctic, not Antarctica?
It's the Arctic. Yeah,
Okay.
not Antarctica. Yeah. Let's do, we're over an hour,
Okay.
so maybe
What
do...
does that mean? Is that it?
Yeah, we'll do one more maybe?
One more. Let's wrap it up on a high weird as AF note. Like a fun one?
Sure.
Or like not so dark and dismal?
Oh, all right.
Should have just ended with hemorrhoids.
People in a study
Yeah.
who snorted toad secretions
Okay.
became happier for a month. Ooh.
Whoa.
The Colorado River toad, buddy,
Yep.
secretes a substance called 5-methoxy-NN-dimethyltryptamine. Jonesy, how did you say that so flawlessly?
5-MeO-DMT.
5-MeO-DMT in parentheses
Yeah.
right after it.
Yeah.
How? Well,
So I know a lot about this.
as do I. The people in a research study at Maastricht
How many people were
University
in the
in the Netherlands, they found that inhaling, it doesn't say how many people,
Uh-huh.
they found that inhaling dried and powdered toad secretions resulted in increased life satisfaction, better mindfulness, and decrease in psychopathological symptoms for the duration of the 4-week-long study.
study? Okay.
Let me
Sounds
find,
like a pretty comprehensive study. And it's interesting that they inhaled it, not smoked it, huh?
No.
Not okay. Oh, inhaling could have been smoking. Inhaling smoke. It wasn't inhaling like sniffing it. Wasn't doing a line of it. Or did you
Hold
say
on.
it was a powder?
Inhaling dried and powdered secretion. So inhaling.
Smoking it.
Would
No,
be-
inhaling through your nose.
Ooh, that's a tough
It
call.
could be smoking because I know
You can
people-
inhale.
I've
There's
only heard of people smoking it, but I guess you can inhale it. Yeah, because I know putting up the butt. Like there's different ways to take drugs, right?
Oh,
Obviously,
I got the answer. I found the
that have
original
faster
article.
ways or better, more efficient ways of entering your bloodstream.
Okay, 42 individuals inhaled vapor from dried toad secretions.
Right.
Uh,
So it was smoked,
for 4 weeks. Yes.
But it was done-
Well,
it
it
was
was
done
it was
with the
vape.
vapor.
It was vaped,
which is
Yeah.
really cool. Okay,
Really cool.
love that.
Yeah, yeah.
And what was the percentage? What was the stats on this? 42 people is a lot of people,
42 people. Yep.
and it was like overwhelmingly changing their
Yep.
worldview and perspective.
It resulted in increased life satisfaction, better mindfulness,
Wow.
decreased in psychopathological symptoms for the duration of the study.
Hmm.
High levels of ego dissolution.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, I think. Well, I'm all for this.
Ratings of depression, anxiety, and stress decreased after the session
Dramatically.
dramatically. A single inhalation of vapor from dried toad secretion containing 5-MeO-DMT produces subacute and long-term changes in affect and cognition in volunteers. These results warrant exploratory research into therapeutic applications of 5-MeO-DMT.
Yeah, well-
that was the conclusion.
Well, what I want to know
What you want to know
Is
is
that-
where can you buy these frogs?
is that it seems like 5-MeO-DMT, I don't know about other drugs, stays in your system because if it changes your perspective on things, like reconfigures your DNA, let's just say, that's a pretty monumental substance.
to do it once and have it have
That's
those
what I'm saying.
effects for a whole month.
That's what I'm saying. Well, what if it lasts longer than a month? What if it lasts years or your whole lifetime? Like, is that possible?
Well, could you just do it once a month? That seems reasonable.
Well, I mean, that seems excessive too.
You
'cause
might
I've
have to
heard-
have a frog farm.
Well,
for this.
from the people that I know who have consumed it, it's an incredibly intense experience. I don't know if it's something you do. It's not a recreational drug by any means.
No, this is life changing shit, right?
Yeah, it's like if you really want to shake your shit up.
Yeah.
This is what you do.
Maybe if you're depressed, or you have some,
Most people that I know who have done
psychopathological
it,
symptoms.
other than being seekers in general, are coming from a place of desperation. They've tried everything,
They've tried everything.
and this is like their last resort, and it often works.
Yeah.
I've only heard incredible things about it.
I would love to try this.
I've been on the fence. But I also am less on the fence about this than ayahuasca, for instance. Mainly because I don't want to poop and throw up while consuming.
Oh yes, I did that. I did that for a whole damn week down in the Amazon jungle. And it
Did
was-
you?
Yep.
A
and then
week? So multiple...
Longer.
What?
It's a 10-day retreat.
10 days of ayahuasca?
Didn't make it all 10 days. That's for damn sure.
How many times were you supposed to be doing this? Or what was the session?
You were supposed
how
to
many
do
sessions?
it 5 times, I think.
And you did?
4 times.
That's a lot.
Double doses on one of the nights.
And the 5th time, you just walked on the 5th time because you just had enough.
I had enough. My body was fucked.
Wow. Did you feel sick?
It wasn't my mind. It was my body. Couldn't take it anymore.
You felt sick?
Days.
Like aches?
Days of diarrhea.
Oh.
It was the worst.
So it wasn't diarrhea during the episode, it was diarrhea even after it?
After all day, every day while I was there.
I mean, and by
It
the
was
way,
a mess.
it's not even necessarily just diarrhea.
My
all the
stomach was a
time.
mess.
It's not even that, it's the wiping and the soreness on your anus.
Oh yes, hemorrhoid conditions.
You got to wipe all the time, and if you wipe too many times, like if you're shitting for a week and like all the time,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a very, very sore bum.
And by the way, I was in the Amazon jungle. So can you imagine
Leaves.
the toilet?
Yeah.
Do you know what I was shitting in?
I don't know.
A fucking a wooden shack that you shat in a hole and then you
It
had
sounds
to
absolutely miserable. It sounds
It
like
was
you have
miserable.
to. It sounds like you have to be on drugs.
One of the nights I was in that
Euphoric
bathroom all
drugs.
alone, I look up, dude, there was a spider bigger than my face on the fucking ceiling.
Are you
a
kidding
big
me?
giant tarantula. I shine my flashlight on it. I'm in the shitter, dying. I'm like, ah!
I don't want to do this.
And I was on ayahuasca
If I
at the
do
time.
it, I'm doing it in Malibu,
Yeah, do it in Malibu, man.
under the comfort of a fake shaman.
Sure. In a nice, comfortable bathroom.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't feel the draw. Like, you know why? And I've explained this to people before. I don't want to name names because I don't want to like talk about who's doing these things, but because it's still like an illegal substance. But the point is, I have a lot of friends who have tried this and close loved ones, and I just apart from I always joke about the shitting and throwing up thing because like who wants to do that while doing a drug, but I have very very intense lucid dreams, and DMT or dreams are a product of DMT, and or at least that's what I've heard and read, but I have the most incredible dreams where I can control them. And they're out-of-body experiences. You can't argue with that. You're not on this physical plane of existence. You're somewhere else in a fully realized world sometimes, right? An alternate universe, whatever it is. Could be the afterlife. We don't know what dreams are, right? So why do I want to take a substance that produces this overwhelming drug that we already have as an endogenous drug within us? It's already within us, okay? Why would I want to do that with, in some sort of scenario when I could just do it every night when I sleep?
Well,
what's the and do it under conditions where I'm not pooping and throwing up all the time.
I mean, yeah, for you maybe not.
And again, I don't have lucid dreams every night, but when I do have them, they're extraordinary, and they are essentially free drug trips of the highest magnitude.
Lucky you.
I can't think of a more pure trip than a dream trip. I can't think. There isn't one.
Yeah.
It's naturally your body or your mind, your pineal gland, whatever, producing a certain amount of DMT that allows you to not only have these vivid, lucid dreams, but also be able to control your dreams, control the outcomes of your dreams. That's as profound as it gets to me.
Well,
other than death, near life experiences.
But here's the difference.
Near death experiences. Sorry.
Here's the difference.
Not near life. Near life experiences. I've had a near life experience my whole life.
With ayahuasca, there's a mind behind it. There's a spirit.
Mother ayahuasca.
Mama Pacha, they call her.
Okay.
There is a mind that will communicate with you.
Something else, an other.
An other, yes.
It's clearly discernible. Like you know this.
Yes.
You experience this with lines and boundaries.
I experienced some of that, not to the level of the people that I was with.
That's pretty cool.
I saw
people.
Oh, really? Yes.
So you saw other people in your group who were communicating with something.
People were given verbatim. Next morning during the integration meetings, we were getting anecdotes from people's trips the night before, verbatim conversations that they were having with spirit, with a spirit.
With this one singular spirit.
Singular spirit. They all describe her very similarly.
Definitely female.
People from all over the world too, different backgrounds.
Definitely female.
Female energy, yeah, female spirit.
This
is why the natives they refer to her as Mama Ayahuasca. So for thousands of years they've referred to this mother spirit. Is this a name we've
given this individual or spirit, or the spirit has said, "Hi, I'm this person"?
Oh, I don't know, because this name goes back thousands of years since this drug was first taken. Yeah. So the Mother Earth spirit they call, whatever the hell you want. I mean, yeah, man.
So I've heard of a couple beings that you interact with, other than Mother Ayahuasca, and it may be on DMT trips, but that is not a universally described collective thing, but these, what are they called? Like, obviously reptilian imagery is very big.
Serpents.
I've heard that.
I was communicating with the serpents.
Okay, but then I also hear these they're not trolls. What are they? Because we were talking about trolling earlier. They're like
goblins.
No.
Little people.
Yeah.
Fangs.
But and not gatekeepers, but they protect. They're like protective of the realms in this DMT trip. Like these. What are they called? I'm like not coming up with the name of them, but there's
Munchkins and Munchkinland.
But they're not Munchkins, but they're in that realm
elves.
Of maybe magical elves of sorts. Maybe, yeah.
Oh, sure. Fairies.
Not fairies. I think it's closer to elves, but I don't know. I find any collective, whether it's imagination or whether it's real, whatever real is, or reality, but the idea that there's any collective description always fascinates me.
Yeah.
So the fact that like Mother Ayahuasca is a thing because so many people collectively have this experience, or the white light, the tunnel when people have near-death experiences.
Yeah, theme.
All of that's fascinating to
Yep.
me, and definitely the serpentine symbolic, imagery is fascinating. Because
Yep.
why that? Why not octopus?
Mm-hmm.
Why not mollusks or crustaceans? I don't know. I'm just trying to
Well,
name
one
things
theory.
from-
So perhaps these spaces give, but they also take. So perhaps these spaces collect all of the. In other words, you take the trip, but maybe the trip also takes you. You take something from it, but also takes something from you. And what is it taking? It's taking from our collective unconscious, going back thousands of years. So the symbols and the images in our collective unconscious, it's also taking and then doing something with it as well. So when you take a trip, you're taking trips that other people have had going back whenever, whatever. And your trip is also the contents of your mind and imagination maybe are also contributing to the collective trip as well that someone else can get a piece of. And so the common themes that we all share, like man has been afraid of serpents forever and ever.
Right,
You're going to see
also
serpents.
at Garden of Eden.
Garden of Eden, the serpent.
That's the first
this
thing
serpent goes back, man.
Right.
Can you imagine? We used to be a fish, whatever. I mean, we used to be a lizard, whatever the fuck we were. We've been as scared.
Well, I was wondering
of
if it's
serpents
collectively
forever.
based on fear.
Yeah.
Is it based on
so
fear?
So probably based on fear, right? So that makes sense to me. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. This is a deep one, right? I mean, how can we wrap our heads around this? We'll never know. We'll never know.
We'll never know. And I have friends who have done 46 trips of ayahuasca and are, in my opinion, no closer to realizing the truth. Actually,
really?
one of these people, sure, they have takeaways like let go. Everyone has that, but and the collective and hive mind sort of thing, and the dissolving of the ego, of course, and the idea that dissolving of the ego just simply means there's less of an I and more of a we. Okay, and I think that's beautiful, and I think that's true. The awakening of people to realize that is important, but they're no closer to the truth because we are so, even though we're very significant in many ways in the cosmos, in this vast, unbelievable space that we live in, we can't possibly know anything. I've always prescribed by that philosophy that I don't know anything. I can have beliefs, but to know something wholeheartedly. And by the way, this person who did 46 trips is one of the 2 flat earthers that I know.
Oh no.
Yeah.
How do you go on enlightening trips and then come back a flat earther?
Well, because the flat earthers believe that to question everything. That's their whole methodology. But at the same time, by questioning everything, they still have definitive viewpoints, which is weird.
What are you going to question this? I mean, where are you going to take this?
Well, hold on.
How far are you going to take it?
Plato and a lot of other philosophers.
Are you getting Platonic on my ass?
Well, Platonic arguments always arrive at no truth. They always start with a question, end with more questions. But when you knocked on wood, the idea of anything in this world that we perceive, it's all an illusion. That's Plato's argument. The cave.
The cave.
Argument,
right?
The
cave. Shadows.
So the only thing that's real is your mind. What's in your mind?
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is just a construct. And you can make an argument for that, but
so in that sense, the Earth isn't. It doesn't matter that it's flat or round, right?
Well, I'm gonna again say I don't know. I just don't know. But the flat earthers say definitively that they will live and die for this truth. They think it's absolutely 100% true, and they also believe in massive conspiracies too that support their arguments. They cherry pick. Just like any conspiracy.
Yeah, they're delusional as fuck. That's my opinion.
But the only thing that makes them delusional, in my opinion, is the fact that they believe in it wholeheartedly, like the Don Quixote. That's delusional. They believe something is this that most of us perceive as one way. They perceive as another way, but 100% another way. That's what bothers me about it. It's the 100% certitude.
It's like, yeah, but that annoys the shit out of me as well. I mean, I feel like just fucking.
Well, you can't have an argument with them.
What the thinker thinks, the prover proves. So they're just going to cherry pick their way, find stupid little pieces of evidence.
You know what doesn't help either?
What?
The fact that they have in their community, they actually have people who are quote unquote scientists or engineers.
Yes, sure. And these people are on YouTube and stuff, and
that's the problem.
Some credibility.
That's the problem.
Oh my God, it's so
stupid. And then also people are decent editors.
Mm-hmm.
When you edit content a certain way, it's very persuasive.
Yeah.
And people are easily persuaded on YouTube.
Sure. easily, that, fools that are being, toyed with, and then they adopt some squirrely ideology like flat earthism. Oh, it's so sad. This is pathology, man. And we live in a culture that's...
That's another problem I have with Scientology, not to talk about religion too much or belief systems, but Scientologists typically believe in it 100% with no doubt, unlike Catholics, for instance, who are all about doubt. There's a lot of religions have doubt. The Jews have a lot of questions. The Jews have a lot of questions about the Torah and about the Bible or whatever, the Old Testament, but Scientologists do not have a question about it. This is their Bible, and it's 100%. I mean, there's extremists from every religion who believe it's 100% the Word of God, and that's what stands. But Scientologists, through and through, if they're members of the church, they believe wholeheartedly in what they believe, which is a dangerous thing.
Surely dangerous.
Yeah.
Surely dangerous. And which is why they all should take a dose of 5-MeO-DMT.
Oh, wow.
Give the scientists the frog juice that they need to transcend their stupid, narrow-minded beliefs.
Again, I haven't done 5-MeO-DMT, but I've spoken to people who have, and but I have done some hallucinogens, and I think doing any decent dose. Now I sound like Terrence McKenna,
I love Terrence McKenna.
But any decent dose of mushrooms will produce the desired effect of really connecting yourself with nature and humanity and everything else in the cosmos, if you do enough. And I think that's an important thing. And I think one thing that's always captivated me or compelled me or attracted me to Terrence McKenna and all these people who are proponents of the drug, of the magical gift that the nature has given us, is that that there's a war on consciousness. I've always felt that, and that has made a huge impact on my life. That there are certain powers that be who don't want us to experience or explore our consciousness. I think that's a real fucking problem. That's
why you love mushrooms so much, sir.
I mean, I'm not going to talk about this on air, but yeah. I mean, I just think I think it's something that is becoming.
I meant portobello mushrooms.
Yeah, exactly. I love cremini. Love cremini mushrooms, and I just think that it's becoming less stigmatized and less taboo, and the world is waking up, just like sex workers. Sex workers are really fighting for their rights, and you know what? I applaud that.
Yeah, I applaud that as well. And I fight for my rights too, as someone who likes substances. I fight for the right.
But before sex workers, by the way, what about fucking interns and just PAs? They don't have any rights.
Nothing.
They have nothing. And the modeling industry, something really interesting about modeling? They've never had a union.
Never.
There's no union for models.
No union.
And I feel like models are really mistreated.
They could be, yeah.
Especially,
I don't know much about it.
I know a lot of models who go overseas, like to China and stuff, and it's like terrible conditions.
Ooh.
Yeah. They just don't give a shit. You're cattle.
Yeah.
You're beautiful cattle. But there's a lot of special interest groups and social justice warriors all pushing for their agenda and their rights. And I wish we could all have total equality and everything, but there's so many people fighting for their own appeasement of suffering, or just trying to suffer less. Everyone's trying to suffer less in this world.
And you know what helps them suffer less?
DMT.
Bonus episodes of Weird AF News.
Oh yeah, that's the best.
With deep thinkers like you, Evan Ferrante.
I think deep, I go deep.
Yeah, you think deep, you go deep, you are deep. I love that.
I mean, I'm not going to say
I haven't quite had a guest like you.
Really?
No.
I don't know what that means. I don't take that as a compliment, really. But
Trust me, it's a compliment. I think my listeners are going to be like, whoa, man, mind blown.
a little Joe Rogan-ish?
He's funny and deep. Yeah.
I hope so.
I love Rogan for sure. Well, listen, Evan, thank you so much for doing a bonus episode. I'm going to have you back because you had a story for every freaking story I gave you.
I feel like
you're like I have a story about hemorrhoids. I have a story about I have a story about being shot because someone thought I was a boar.
Oh, necrophilia? Yeah, I got one.
I got one for necrophilia. Let's talk about 5-MeO-DMT. I like frogs.
So I was just. I have levels to my personality. I'm not always as talkative. The coffee helps for sure.
Oh, that's all I need to bring you?
Yeah, I told you I need one little B12 shot to the ass. But Kevin Smith, I was just watching an interview, and he's a talker, okay? And he was on Colbert, and Colbert was like, he was entertained by him, but he couldn't get a word in. And he made a joke. He said, the last time you were on, Kevin, I asked you one question, and you talked for like 15 minutes straight, just on a derailed on like all these tangents. I hope I was
You let
more
me talk.
focused. I was more focused.
Yeah,
right?
you let me talk.
I did let you
too.
talk. I let you go on that 20-minute rant.
I did go on a 20
The
minute.
mad as hell. I'm
It
not
was-
going to take it anymore. By the way, if I was, and I think you're the perfect person for this. I'm impressed by anyone who can go on rants.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do my own show of sorts, and I've done certain things, but usually scripted. I'm decent at improv, but to go on rants is a real skill, and it's a skill that I wish I could hone, just like storytelling is. But it's something that I admire in anybody who can do it.
Well, thank you.
And I always relate to Network in that movie, you know, Mad as Hell, I'm not going to take it anymore.
Yeah,
Because, first of all, he was speaking the truth. It's truth bombs every single time, and that's why it was so successful until he killed himself on air. But that's what I aspire to be. You know, not ending in my own suicide, but
And then he died in real life.
but just expressing truth, because if you can express truth and also be funny too, that's a career.
Yeah,
It's not easy,
I've been honing my skills at this on the Weird AF News podcast for 2+ years.
But like-
I think I'm getting somewhere.
Oh no, I think podcasts are a great forum for you. But like when you do stand up, you have most of the stuff is prepared and rehearsed.
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
But when you go off on these like spirited, spontaneous tangents and then come back to it, those are glorious times.
Yeah, I like that.
Right?
Yeah. I don't do
They're
it
beautiful.
often,
They're
but I
not
do.
often, but they're beautiful experiences
yeah.
that you. Some people can do all the time.
The reason I don't do too many of them in stand-up is because when you do it, you're not leaving any room for the audience to laugh.
True.
And
you need those laughs.
the stand-up form is really a give and take. It's a dialogue. It's like da, you laugh, you laugh,
It's like iambic
you laugh.
pentameter. There's beats.
Yes, that's right. It's like iambic it's like, yeah, whatever you just said. I'm not smart.
I'm only smart with caffeine, dude. I'm serious. Or hard drugs.
Same. Okay, Evan, tell the listeners where they can get more information about you,
Well-
follow you, maybe check you out in your career.
Yeah, the only thing I do right now that I could be hired for, because no one really hires independent film producers that often, because I do that as well. I do that. I love saying I do, you know.
You do.
Is I'm a Tom Cruise impersonator, and a highly regarded Tom Cruise impersonator.
One of the
internationally
best
acclaimed.
Internationally acclaimed.
So my website is www. I guess I never have to say www ever
You do
again.
not anymore.
Or https /
unless I'm shooting this file to a retirement home.
provide a little hyperlink. So it's nottomcruise.com, because I'm not Tom Cruise. It's very simple. And that's all across my social. I think mostly I'm not Tom Cruise official, because I thought that was like cool to put official down, because there might be some copycats out there.
Yeah, you're official.
Which
not,
hasn't
you're,
really
you're
happened
officially
yet.
not Tom Cruise.
I'm not big enough to have copycats, but I wanted to put official to just stand my ground and be like, this is who I am. I'm the only one. But I do impersonations across the globe. I like to say, yeah.
Evan pays his bills this way, which is freaking
miraculous.
It's outstanding.
People are
That's how
astonished.
successful he
People
is.
are astonished when they hear that.
Gone all over the world as Tom Cruise.
I
It's
live in a
unbelievable.
decent 2-bedroom in Larchmont Village. I'm not going to say where, but you'd be surprised. I'm an impersonator of one person. I don't even do multiple impressions.
My dream is to have somebody impersonate me one day.
That'd be cool. That'd be the ultimate compliment.
Wouldn't it be?
I mean, the ultimate compliment for me is if Tom Cruise ever impersonated Evan Ferrante. That'd be huge.
That would be outstanding.
It would just be, I could die happy.
Maybe Tom Cruise is a fan of Weird AF News. We don't know this. Maybe he's listening. I have no
That
idea.
would be cool.
Yeah. Well, reach us. So they can follow you at those places. I'll
Yeah.
put a link to you as well.
Cool.
And,
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this. And I want to do this again with you next month.
I'd love to.
Cause you just
I'm
knocked
available. Let me check my
You just knocked this out of the park.
non-existent schedule.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much.
Okay.